This presentation deals with developing an incident response team in your medical practice. Healthcare Synergies is a consulting and insurance company specializing in HIPAA HITECH in addition to other areas for healthcare compliance. This is Data Breach Planning, Part 2 of a two-part series. By now you certainly realize that data breaches happen every day. It's not a matter of if, but when, a data breach will affect your medical business. The best defense is staging a proactive offense. A fundamental part of a proactive offense is the development of a breach response team and a communication plan. For the sports fans, you can make this fun. Pick your quarterback, your wide receivers, and decide who's going to play defense and who's going to play offense. The common goal should be to remedy a bad situation in a timely and cost-effective manner. An incident response team is needed regardless of the size of your medical practice. The IRT should provide a quick, effective, and orderly response to data breach incidents, including computer viruses, hackers, break-ins, thefts, and improper disclosure. The IRT should seek to mitigate loss of profits due to an extended disruption, brand diminishment, lost public confidence, as well as government fines and penalties. The IRT is delegated the authority to act quickly, without pause, and take the necessary steps to mitigate or resolve issues involving breach of computer data, networks, or databases. The IRT should investigate suspected breaches and report their findings to management and/or the appropriate authorities when necessary. IRT members should represent the following areas of your organization: senior management, IT operations, security, legal, public relations, and risk management. Again, we illustrate the common misperceptions regarding PHI using a little humor. Essentially, this picture tells us that most medical administrators are unfamiliar with the, quote, lingo and have very limited understanding of patient health information breaches. Obviously, unencrypted and non-shredded patient health information in a dumpster represents a major data breach, but certainly not one where the hazmat team should be part of the incident response team. Depending on whether you're a hospital or a private medical practice, your incident response team could look vastly different. First, we will look at the roles and responsibilities in the hospital setting. Members of this IR team should include a Chief Information Officer who oversees, directs, and has ultimate responsibility for managing information security standards and controls intended to minimize the risk of loss, damage, or misuse of IT-supported data. The Chief Information Security Officer is most often a shared position with the Chief Information Officer. The Information Security Liaison could be a made-up position, or as with the Chief Information Security Officer, the responsibilities can be part of the CIO's role. An IT Operations Manager is a must. This is a function that most large health systems have. He or she is usually responsible for managing the IT databases across multiple locations. It is imperative that they are part of the incident response team. Next, the Risk Manager. And most clients we talk to think that the risk manager is just there for patient misadventures or adverse outcomes. However, it is extremely important for the hospital risk manager to be involved in data breaches involving patient health information. Next, the in-house legal counsel. Usually the last call that a hospital administrator wants to make is to in-house counsel. But the fact is, in the case of a data breach, it's imperative that they're a part of the IR team since they will need to closely monitor the progress of the cleanup. They should also be familiar with the high-tech legislation in the individual state of the health system and therefore deliver timetables to other members of the IR team to ensure compliance with the law. Last, the Public Relations Director. It's obvious by now that a large-scale data breach can have a significant impact on brand image. It's therefore important that the PR director is aware of a potential breach so they can prepare a message that may be part of a mandatory breach notification. They will likely speak with other members of the IR team to deliver a script to use in the case of media or patient inquiries. Let's shift gears for a moment, since most of the work we perform at HIPAA and HCS is for smaller private practice physician organizations. We will spend the rest of our time discussing data breaches originating in private practice. Doing so, it's important to designate employees of your organization prior to a breach so he or she knows their role and can act accordingly. The organizations we work for seldom have the necessary skills to complete all of the tasks required in a data breach. Therefore, many of these tasks are outsourced. Consequently, most of the vendors should be selected well in advance, primarily so they know your business and can respond and react accordingly. HCS always recommends getting contracts in place in advance, especially if you're interested in negotiating the best rates. Last-minute contracts will almost always cost more money. Here's what an incident response team looks like for small organizations and most private practice medical providers. The practice manager or group CEO or COO will function like the CIO in a large hospital organization. A privacy officer is often a key stakeholder in the organization that has ownership or has the partnership designation. HIPAA requires that a covered entity designate a privacy officer. This is very similar to the requirement by HHS for every group to have a compliance officer. Sometimes the same person within the organization will share both titles. Next, a network administrator. This is usually a third-party vendor. However, we have seen a few larger groups with this position in-house. This person should be responsible for coordinating the forensic investigation and overseeing the technical implementation of IRP. Outside legal counsel. Once again, it's very unusual for small to mid-sized practices to have house counsel. Outside counsel will be used in most cases to evaluate whether law enforcement should be notified to determine whether notification to patients is necessary under state and federal laws. Next, the insurance broker should be contacted in the event the medical provider has any policies in place, such as HITECH or breach response, that may protect or indemnify them for patient health information data breaches. Last, a crisis management firm, which is akin to a public relations director in a large organization. This resource will help the medical provider control communication internally and externally to keep the brand alive and the damage to a minimum. Developing an incident response team is only one piece of the puzzle. Below are 8 ways that Henry Ford Health System in Detroit improved its response plan. I think the most important thing is that once you have a plan in place and have reached a consensus in your organization that you want to do something about mitigating your risk of breach of patient health information, is that you test your plan against past breaches and make sure there are no flaws. It is important that you get help and don't try to deal with these complex issues alone. There are a variety of reputable providers of consulting and IT services specializing in HIPAA high-tech. Make sure you choose a partner wisely, as one mistake can be costly. Data breaches happen in ways you would least expect. If it seems far-fetched, it can and will happen. Patient health information is lost, stolen, or compromised every day in a series of events that seem impossible, but most losses can be prevented with proper risk management. At Healthcare Synergies, we know that data breaches happen despite good risk management measures in place, but your actions once a breach has occurred can make all the difference in the outcome. We deliver outcomes that are positive and prevent those that are unexpected. HCS also has access to the leading worldwide providers of data breach insurance coverage. Visit our website or give us a call if you need help navigating these areas in your medical practice. We're happy to speak with you free of charge about setting up a compliance plan and a risk assessment for your group.